Those were some of the images from Nimrod's outreach at London Pride last week. Special mention to Ola, who is also a generous donor to this channel and had made some professionally looking signs. Now, Nimrod is on a small break. He would come back to Frankfurt on 18th July. He would be there until 19th. Then he goes to Heidelberg on 20th July Sunday. Then he goes to Mannheim 21st July, Marburg on 22nd, Cologne on 23rd, and Leipzig on 24th before ending his tour in Berlin from 25th July to 27th of July. I have lost the count of his tours by now, and he is already commenting about doing this again in 2026. Nimrod has great antinatalist energy. It's not as easy as it looks in photos. If you look at his Facebook posts, he documents several day-to-day hurdles he faces during these tours, but he plows through them all with a happy face and a pessimist's philosophy. Antinatalism and climate change, rethinking life, birth, and the future is a meetup event in Luxembourg. Advertised on meetup.com, it says, in light of the climate crisis, some philosophers question whether bringing new life into the world is ethically justified. Is choosing not to have children a rational moral response or a pessimistic overreaction? Join us to explore antinatalism and climate ethics through questions like, do we have a duty not to create future suffering? Is human life worth continuing in an unstable world? How should climate realities shape our personal and collective choices? Open to all curious minds, no philosophy background required. It doesn't look like an online event, there's no link, but if you happen to be in Luxembourg, you may want to attend. The Wheel of Time is a series of fantasy novels by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. The books draw on elements from European and Asian mythologies. For example, cyclical nature of time, that's the wheel in the title, comes from Hinduism and Buddhism. Duality between God and Satan comes from Zoroastrianism, and so on. They contain a lot of philosophical aspects about nature of time, progress, war, trauma, moral ambiguity, etc. Amazon Prime made a TV adaptation of these books. The books were published between 1990 and 2013, so that's not the news. The news is a new book, The Wheel of Time and Philosophy, A Portion of Wisdom, is going to be published in August 2025. This is a collection of 18 essays by philosophers, literary scholars, and media critics. They explore how concepts from The Wheel of Time, both the original novels and the Amazon Prime adaptation, echo philosophical themes and age-old questions. One chapter in it is the Antinatalists and the Aes Sedai. Should Rand al-Thor save the world? Aes Sedai is an organization of women who want to preserve existence. Rand al-Thor is a man who questions existence. Now, I'm not sure why this question has to be divided on gender lines, but maybe we'll know when the book is published. 11th July was World Population Day, so let's look at two stories about population. One is about South Korea and another is in the realm of philosophy and population ethics. BBC had an article about how fertility clinics are booming in South Korea. We all know that South Korea has the lowest fertility rate in the world, but things are changing over there. So even though the country has repeatedly broken its own record for having the world's lowest birth rate, 0.98 babies per woman in 2018, 0.84 in 2020, 0.72 in 2023, South Korea's birth rate rose slightly to 0.75 in 2024, its first increase in 9 years. Not only is there a slight increase in fertility rate, but fertility clinics are also booming. More people are seeking out treatments like IVF and egg freezing. Between 2018 and 2022, the number of fertility treatments carried out in the country rose nearly 50% to 200,000. Last year, 1 in 6 babies in Seoul were born with the help of fertility treatment. This has resulted in fertility treatment on an industrial scale in South Korea. It is projected that this industry could be worth more than $2 billion by 2030. From an antinatalist's point of view, this is a bad news because more children would be born. But it's not bad news for antinatalism. That's because the original drop in fertility rate was not because of antinatalism to start with. It was was because of combination of individual financial situations, gender roles and societal expectations. We might see this trend of rise in fertility after initial fall in other countries too, and pro-natalists would be happy to declare that this is a victory over antinatalism. But we need to be aware that antinatalism was not the root cause of the initial drop. Jacob Nebel is a professor of philosophy at Princeton University. He gave a lecture at UHero Oxford Institute on 16th June as part of Parfit Memorial Lecture series. The lecture was titled The Procreation Asymmetry, Some Puzzles. It was a very technical lecture with puzzles in population ethics, mainly about addition of new people. That addition of new people is also the focus of procreation asymmetry, which says that we are morally required to prevent creation of miserable lives, but we are not morally required in the same way to create happy lives. The lecture recording is available on UHero YouTube channel. It's just about an hour long but does not include Q&A which happened afterward. A quick summary is available on their blog site. I'll put its link in the description. Those were the stories this week. I know we haven't covered them all. I was short on time this time around, so sorry for that. I did not cover any of the videos, but I'll include links to some of them that came out during this week. Thanks for watching and see you next time.